Evaluating group contingencies for increasing daily steps in adults. Physical inactivity is a growing health concern worldwide. Although there is evidence demonstrating effective behavioral strategies for increasing physical activity among adults, interventions can become costly in terms of both time and money when implemented long term. Group contingencies involve the delivery of a consequence contingent on the behavior of one or more members of a group and may be more practical and economically feasible than arranging individualized contingencies. One limitation of group contingencies is that there may be inconsistencies in the rate of meeting the criterion based on individual baseline performance. Percentile schedules may help gradually increase levels of physical activity while taking into account ongoing performance. Therefore, the purpose of the current study was to evaluate 3 group contingencies for increasing daily steps in adults using a percentile schedule of reinforcement. A second purpose was to evaluate preference and cost effectiveness for group contingency interventions. 6 university students, staff, and faculty were recruited and divided into groups of 2. Participants used the Fitbit mobile application and wristband device to monitor daily steps. A non-concurrent multiple baseline across groups design was combined with an alternating treatments design, and conditions alternated randomly in series of 3. Goals within each series of 3 were determined using a 70th percentile schedule or were set at a 1,000-step increase from the previous goal if the new goal was lower than a participant's average daily steps in baseline. There were no program contingencies during baseline, but participants had access to all other study components. During intervention, participants earned $1 each day if the group contingency was met by 8 p.m. Participants verbally reported their preference for interventions after each series of 3. This figure displays percent change from baseline for each participant across the 3 types of group contingencies. Daily steps increased in at least one condition for 5 participants. Decreases from baseline were observed in all conditions for 1 participant. This figure displays the frequency of verbal reports for each participant when asked which condition they liked the best. Most participants preferred the independent condition. This figure displays the frequency of verbal reports for each participant when asked which condition they thought made them walk the most. Verbal reports varied within and across participants. All interventions cost less than 1 cent per step increase to implement. The findings of this study suggest that group contingencies can be implemented at a low cost to increase daily steps among adults. Additionally, the current study extended the literature on group contingencies by using a percentile schedule to determine reward criteria. Percentile schedules may help gradually increase physical activity to levels consistent with public health recommendations while controlling for individual differences in baseline performance among group members. Finally, the current study evaluated preference for group contingency interventions. Most participants tended to prefer the independent condition in which the consequence was not dependent on the behavior of other group members. Verbal reports of which condition participants thought made them walk the most varied and could be a result of access to discriminative information about walking behavior via the Fitbit mobile app and wristband device. Future research should systematically evaluate preference for group contingencies and the effects of performance feedback on behavior in group contingencies. Thank you.